If he could charge me for the breath that I took, he would have done that. I didn't care if I died. I didn't care if anything had happened to me. I had such a hole in my life that I was just falling through. And I was waiting for that rock bottom to hit. My name is Dixie Brenton. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. I was homeschooled. I had a pretty sheltered life. I grew up in a very godly Christian home. Anytime the doors were open, we were there. Outside looking in, everything looked pretty normal. Somewhere between the age 3 and 4 years old, I was sexually abused by a family member. And that continued on until I was about 16 years old. At that moment, I knew that I wasn't going to be protected by anyone. I had to just pretty much take care of myself. I would say I was about 17 years old, and I ran away from home. None of that worked out, so they put me in a college. I met a girl that was on the campus with me that lived in the same dorm as I did, and she invited me to go with her to meet a friend. And I thought at the moment that they were boyfriend and girlfriend. I didn't know anything different. And he asked her to leave, and he wanted her to leave me there. And I felt that was a little awkward and odd. And he gave me attention and told me he wanted to get to know me because he wanted me to be his girlfriend. That turned into him being a ringleader of a trafficking network that was happening at the school that I was attending. In the early 2000s, we didn't talk about human trafficking. We didn't have awareness. We didn't know what it was. And so we knew what prostitutes were. We knew what pimps were. So there wasn't conversation. There was no way to identify someone that had been a victim of human trafficking. I found myself in a situation where it was either I kill myself or the trafficker kills me, because I was losing so much hope and so much ability to live life. I didn't want any more pain. I didn't want to deal with any more of this chaos. Moving forward, I took too many drugs one day in hopes that I would kill myself to just end the darkness. I laid on that bed and I was just waiting to die. And it was like another piece of me came up in that moment and just said, God has to be bigger than the condemnation and the judgment and the legalistic God that I grew up knowing. Like, I needed something more than that. And I reached out in faith. And when I did, God met me right there. And so my best friend, who was the only person willing enough to come get me at the moment, came, and she picked me up and took me to the hospital. And it was there at the hospital that the triage nurse identified me as a victim of human trafficking. And it was from that moment on a game changer. I knew it felt right because I had been carrying this identity for so long that I was a sex addict or that I was a prostitute and that I was worthless. This person had identified me with something that felt more helpful and healing, and it just gave me, it resonated. The first program, it was like NICU. I was in critical condition. I mean, I had to learn how to wear clothes again. I had to learn how to eat in front of people. I had to learn to just even socialize even. And so once I got through that part of the program, I went to another place where I learned that I needed to find my identity. And it gave me a really good chance to work on things that I needed to work on, like money and drugs and just addiction and how to be alone and not have a boyfriend or someone there all the time. And so that was what I needed. That was what I was missing, was that community and that support system, that real solid support system. And so I found that here, and I had to learn to adjust to the things that I didn't think I was gonna do. And I find myself to be happier. I find myself to feel, I'm safer in my support system. I'm married, I have kids, I have a child on the way. Everybody's healthy, everybody's good, and it is true that God restores what the locusts have eaten.